Hey everyone, thank you for joining me for another video today. I didn't actually really know what I was going to talk about, and then, of course, the way the universe works, I go to a meeting and somebody asks me a question. I'm like, wait, this is a really good topic for today. So I did an energy clearing for people a while back, and one of the things that came up was, how does it work? And a lot of people would ask me, what is it that you're clearing? Do you know um, exactly what it is? So here's the thing. I cannot tell you what it is or what it isn't. I only tell you what I can see. So what I would normally do is I would go into a meditative state. So I prefer doing a lot of the clearing work, especially the entity clearing or the earthbound, what you would call earthbounds. Uh, and I just call it that because we don't really have names that I could give it. So this is just the closest thing that would be able to be understood. So that's why I call it that. But how it would work is I would go into a meditative state. After getting permission from the person, I would never do this unless the person has agreed for me to do the work. And I normally do this just before I fall asleep, because even with NLP and hypnosis, that alpha state, just before you fall asleep, is the most powerful time to make changes in the subconscious. So with the help of NLP and hypnosis, in that very relaxed state, you can actually change behaviors. But that is a different avenue to take with certain things. What I'm talking about today is the entity clearing or the shadow work that might be external or might be experienced as external to yourself, even though it might not necessarily be. So again, I would go into this meditative state and I will find that person's energetic signature. So in my mind, it would look like that person, but it might look like there's things attached to them, or it. I can't really give you the details because I don't want to interfere with the privacy of some of the people that I've done work for. But let's say, for example, one thing that I see very often is it looks like a little gremlin type critter, except that it's incredibly dark. It has no distinguishable features. The only way that I know that is what it is because I could get a quick profile view of it, and it's in my mind's eye. It's not something that I would generally see with my naked eye, although that has happened. But it's very quick, it's very fleeting, it's in the peripherals, and a lot of times I would say, oh, did I really see that? So that is how that started for me when I was younger. When I was very little, I died at birth. My mom died at birth, and that's an experience that I would share with people because I have memories of that. And I will share that with you in a separate video. But for as long as I can remember, I had things in my room. I had, let's call them entities, I had beings, whatever you want to call them, and it was not hardly ever friendly. And unfortunately, I don't think my parents really understood that, or maybe they were scared of it. They didn't really understand what I was saying because I was really little. But there was not a lot of understanding for that at the time. And anytime that I would come into my parents' room and I'd really be scared, they would just chase me out and tell me to go back to my bedroom and go sleep there. In fact, it got so bad that my sister would come and sleep in my room without me really knowing about it, until I tripped over her to go to the bathroom, because for her, I was the safe space. Obviously, as a child, I didn't understand any of these things, and I didn't know why I was able to. I thought it was normal. I didn't think that there was anything strange about it. I knew I wasn't supposed to be scared all the time, and I didn't exactly know how to help myself, but I just kind of stood my ground, and eventually, over time, I was able to cut off a lot of these things. But as I got older, the more I started speaking to people in different realms, I realized, oh wait, this is this is not something that everybody has or is capable of seeing or noticing, maybe. And so now I've started to lean really back into that. But going back to the clearing, I would be able to see what's there. I would see if there's an earthbound there, so maybe somebody that hasn't passed on, or maybe somebody that doesn't know that they did, or maybe somebody, it could even be a flickering within different dimensions, which is another whole different situation. But I would call in my guides, my higher self, and also the person's higher self and their guides. This is just as a safe protocol that I feel I need to follow. So you have to be in the heart before you can do this type of work. You need to be fairly clear yourself and not have any backlogged trauma or really tense emotions that you haven't cleared. So I use NLP and hypnosis a lot for myself to clear anything that comes to the surface, because a lot of times it's not even my stuff. So I have to do these clearings often for myself, especially since I'm doing this work for other people. And then I would just systematically start clearing whatever it is that I see. And this is not, again, this is in my mind's eye, it's in a meditative state. And as I start clearing it, I can start seeing more of the person, or I can start seeing a different point of view, or there's more things that's coming to the surface. So it could be that they have layers on them. And then, of course, the same thing goes for properties and for offices, or any kind of area or location that needs to be cleared. That's the same thing. I can tell stories about the things that I've seen, and to me, some of them is recurring. So I can see there's a specific type that does a specific thing, and I can clear it, because the way that I see it, everything is energy. There's nothing to fear. You can't fear something that is just trying to feed off your fear, because then you're just feeding it. So stop feeding it. These are not things that we need to fear. They are things that we have to take our permission back from. So at some point, they have given, or we have given, these energies, I would rather call them energies, permission to infiltrate whatever it is that we are busy doing. And I apologize if you can hear the noise out there. That just started. I'm outside, and it's such a beautiful day. I didn't want to do this inside. So as I start clearing everything systematically, I also use a protection, and I ask for protection to come in. I ask for healing to come in, because it's like a wound. It's the same as if you were to cut yourself. We first have to clean it, then we have to cover it and dress it, and then we have to give it time to heal. So I do ask a lot of protection and healing to come in, and then afterwards I would do a report of what I saw. And this is where it gets really interesting for me. I used to gaslight myself a lot doing this stuff, or being even just seeing this stuff, or even knowing things, because I would know things about certain people. Just walking down the street, I would get this flash of information about this person that I've never met. And sometimes it wasn't good stuff. A lot of times it's like, oh, I can feel this person is really loving, and they're very caring, and they've been through a lot, but they're very deeply loving people. And then there are the others where it's like, oh my God, this person beats his wife and his children, and there's nothing I can do about it. It's not like I can go, oh well, this is this is the information I got. So I gaslit myself a lot in the beginning, and just made it out like it's my imagination. This is just my thoughts going wild. But since I started doing this work more frequently and more deeply, and definitely more intensely than I ever did before, I now have the access, or the beautiful, lucky access, really, from people that I've done the work for, especially after I do the reports where I show them what I've seen. Because that's when they would go, oh my goodness, this is what you saw, here's a photo of it, or this that you described, this is what it is for me. For example, and I'm going to just be very vague about this, but there would be, for example, oh, I love the smell of vanilla, and I would be like, I smelled vanilla while I was doing this. Does vanilla have anything? Oh, it's my favorite smell. Oh, well, and this person that was standing next to you smelled vanilla. smelled like vanilla. Things like that. That is just confirmation for the work that I do. And I never know what it's going to look like. This is why I can't tell you what is the spiritual clearing going to be, because it's different. There's almost never the same thing for different people. There might be similar energies or entities that tries to do similar things, but there's always stuff there that is very, very unique to the person, and that I could never have known. And that's confirmation for me as well. I don't ever want people to say, oh, this is just nonsense, or this is just blah blah blah. That would not be beneficial for anybody. So when I get these type of confirmations, it's really, really transformational for me as well. And of course, every time I do these clearings, I actually clear stuff for myself too. And that goes for the NLP and hypnosis as well. Whenever I do a session where we are really going in deep, there will always be a subject that this person will bring up to me, and I'm like, oh, wow, I have been dealing with this last week, and this is how I dealt with it, and now it's my opportunity to clear it. The universe, consciousness, God, whatever you want to call it, source, always brings us more opportunities through other people, through other events, through circumstance, where it's giving us the opportunity to learn more, to clear more, to become more authentically ourselves. And I think that is, if I could give anybody the best kind of advice and the best information that I've received over the last few years, and these are downloads that I've been receiving, and just overall energetic information that I just know, because it's a knowing. I don't know how I know it, I just know it. I can't explain it, and then information will come in later, like, how did you know that was that? I don't know. I think it's part of my energetic field, or all of our energetic fields. It's something that we can all tap into if we are open to it, and we are willing to actually sit down in the quiet and actually hear or see and just be with ourselves, because our most authentic self has all the knowledge. We are part of consciousness. We are a perfect little fractal expression of God itself. And because of that, we actually have access to all of this knowledge. And we're only now starting to discover and really starting to lean into how to express ourselves better, and how to access this information better. And it's a journey for all of us. But the best advice that I can give is, and this has been coming back to me all the time, is we have to slow down to speed up. That's the first thing. Slow down to speed up. Basically, if you feel like you are rushed, slow down, because you are just energetically magnetizing not having enough time to you. So you're going to have more of not enough time. And the other big thing is, and I suppose this could probably lean more into what is the purpose of life in general, is just authenticity. Becoming your most authentic self. I have been denying that part of myself, or this part of myself, for the longest time, because it's considered woo-woo, and not necessarily very well accepted in mainstream business, or just general conversation. However, all of us have these abilities, all of us have these gifts, and for the most part in the rest of the universe, from where I'm standing, that's normal. Us having decided we don't have any of these gifts, we don't have the ability to see stuff, and we don't have ability to tap into energy, that is just us living our most stunted selves. So the more you lean into it, and don't always say that it's just your imagination, because you never know. Before I started sharing this stuff, that was the only thing that I ever thought. I'm like, oh, that's just my imagination. But then when I started sharing these messages, these downloads, this information that I would get during sessions, I started to realize, but there's something really, really tangible to this. because every time that I did share them, even though it was so loud in my ear and I did ignore it a lot of times, the times that I didn't ignore it and I actually gave the message, it was a profoundly transformational message to the person that received it, even when I didn't know what it meant, and I'm just a messenger. So that is my message for today. Everything is energy. Everything around us is energy. You can either decide to deny it or tap into it, but it's still going to be there whether you deny it or not. And most women, I'm sure, if there are a lot of women listening to this, they will say, yeah, that's how I know. Intuitively, I know if something's wrong with my child. I know it before it happens, or I can sense it just before it happens. And that's energy. Females or women in general are a little bit more in tune with it, because it's been more accepted for us to lean into our emotions than it has been for men in general. I'm talking very general terms here. But this is also all changing, and we can see it. You just need to have the eyes to see and the willingness to see it, that the world is changing, and for the better. I know it seems chaotic right now, but it's definitely changing for the better. And this is now where we have to start choosing what it is that we want to see, or what it is that we want to bring into our reality, not what we want to see necessarily, but what we want to create. Because it's not seeing is believing. This is not accurate. It is, you have to believe and have faith to be able to see it, to bring it into your reality. It takes time, and it takes the right type of energy and focus, because what you focus on is what you're going to bring into your life. And I will talk more about how to do that in a later video. But for now, do something that is authentically you every single day, and do something that brings you joy every single day, and watch your life change over time. It's really simple.